Good morning, students. I hope you all are fine. I hope you all are following all the classes also, and you are going through the book and you are going through line to line explanation as well. So we have completed Act 1. Act 1 we have completed. Today we will start Act 2, Scene 1. So except the for Act 1, Scene 1, all the scenes in every act, it is set on the different part of the island where Prospero and Miranda were living. So this part is also when Act 2 Scene 1, this particular scene also takes place in one corner of the island, and here we find that as Ferdinand and Miranda, they were about to start something new. On this particular scene, Act 2 Scene 1, we will find the other members of the ship, and here we will find that Gonzalo, about whom we have already learned, and we found him quite helpful towards Prospero. He is a Gonzalo is a positive person. He tries to console the king by mentioning the bright side, whereas we find Sebastian and Antonio, they are constantly trying to pull him back, and they had a different planning, obviously, that we will come to know along with the course of the drama. So let us start here, and here enters Alonso. Alonso, you all know, King of Naples. Someone asked me in the live class about Alonso on that day. For the first class only, I told all of you to learn about those characters. You will get it at the very beginning of the drama. The first page you will get, though verbally I mentioned those characters, important characters. So obviously Prospero's brother is obviously Antonio, and here we find King of Naples Alonso, and his brother is Sebastian, and his son is Ferdinand, as we all know. So let us start now. Gonzalo says to Alonso is the King of Naples. To the king, Gonzalo says, I want all of you to keep your books ready. I hope you all are ready with your textbook. Now Gonzalo says to Alonso, beseech you, sir, be merry. Means I request you, sir, I entreat you to be happy. You have cause, so have we all. You have the definite reason to be happy, and we also do have the same. Of joy, for our escape is much beyond our loss. We have perfect reason to be happy, because whatever we have lost, and whatever, as we all are alive, this is better than whatever we will have lost. A hint of is common. So whatever we have gone through, the problem is quite common. Every day some sailor's wife, the mistress of some merchant, and the merchant have just a theme of woe. So whatever suffering, whatever loss we all have faced, every day many sailors are also many wives of the sailors, they also face the same problem. Many merchants also face the same kind of trouble in the sea, or they face the storm in sea, as we all have faced. So but for the miracle, I mean our preservation, few in millions can speak like us. And what is the miracle, and what is the exceptional case in ours? That is, we are alive, and it's nothing but miracle that we are alive, and we can speak, we can talk about our happenings. Okay. Then wisely, good sir, weigh our sorrow with our comfort. Now I request you, sir, to compare our loss with our profit. Okay, means as we are alive now, you must compare our present situation with whatever we will have faced before. Now Alonso says, prithee, peace. I request you to remain quiet, to remain calm and quiet. Now Sebastian, in as aside to Antonio, now Sebastian, he says to Antonio that he receives comfort like cold porridge. Porridge is a, he has used pan over here. So porridge is a food item, and when it is served hot, it tastes better. So here he uses pan. He ironically he says that what he wanted to comfort the king. He means Gonzalo wanted to comfort Alonso, but Alonso has taken his words like means like a person where means when a person is served with a cold porridge, the person as it tastes the best when it is served hot. So if the same thing is served cold situation, what will the person feel? So he has not taken his comfort in a nice way. This is what he tries to mean. Antonio says the visitor will not give him over so. Visitor means Gonzalo. He says the person is not going to leave him so soon. If Sebastian says, look, he is winding up the watch of his wit. By and by it will strike. Now he says that like a means to striking and chewing the watches was most fashionable in those times. So he says that he is just winding up his watches, and he is trying to think about, he is finding out words, he is trying to use his wit in order to speak again. Okay, now and he compares his words with the striking of the watch, so sound only. Now Gonzalo says sir, and Sebastian says one till now. See, you can count from now, like watch, he will be continuing his words. Now Gonzalo says when every grief is entertained that's offered comes to the entertainer. Means he says if every man treats misfortune as a part of the whole, means if every person takes grief or whatever loss or misfortune lightly, then the person gets he says that Sebastian says $1. He says that the person being an entertainer gets dollar money, and Gonzalo says $1. See, here DOLLA, dollar means it's associated with money, and DOLOUR, dollar, the same pronunciation, but it means grief. Now Gonzalo has taken his pan in a different way, and he says dollar comes to him indeed. Obviously he gets grief, and he can you have spoken truer than you purposed, means whatever you wanted to say you have said better than that. Sebastian says you have taken it wiselier than I meant you should. I thought, means whatever I said, but the way you have taken, I expected you not to take it in that way. Now they are mocking, that is the thing you all can understand. Sebastian and Antonio both are mocking Gonzalo. Now Sebastian says, Gonzalo, therefore my lord. Antonio says, what a spendthrift is he of his tongue, means he is so talkative, and how needlessly his tongue is wagging, means he shouldn't talk so much and he is talking so much. Antonio is saying. Alonso, now to Gonzalo again. Alonso, king of Naples, he says, I pray thee spare me of your words. Please you remain quiet. Gonzalo says, well, I have done, but yet I have almost completed my words. I just wanted to say. Now Sebastian says, he will be talking. Antonio says, which of he or Adrian, for a good wager, first begins to crow? Now see the words they are using. Which of he or Adrian? Adrian is another person who was there on the ship, only one of the lords. So now Antonio is trying to make a guess who is going to speak out first. He means Gonzalo or Adrian. Now Sebastian says, the old cock. Old cock means the older one, means Gonzalo. And Antonio says the cockerel, means the young cock, means Adrian. Sebastian says, done, the Vega. Means, okay, now the deal is done. So what will be our reward? Means, you have said Gonzalo will speak out first, and I have said Adrian. Now whoever wins, what will be the stake or the reward or the prize? Now Antonio says a laughter, and Sebastian says a match. Means, I agree. Now Adrian says, though this island seem to be desert, uh, now they have Sebastian says, okay, you are paid. Means, I have lost the bet, you have win. Adrian has spoken first. He says, uninhabitable and almost inaccessible. Now he says, this island, though this island seems to be deserted, no one lives here, it's inhabitable and it's beyond human reach as well. Sebastian says, yet it means, then so what? Adrian says, Antonio says, he couldn't miss it. Means, you wanted to know what happened. Means, if it's so, then what's next? But he doesn't want to even miss the word yet. He has repeated the same. Adrian says, it must need to be of subtle, tender and delicate temperance. Its climate is quite soft, a bit mysterious and gentle as well. Antonio says, temperance was a delicate wench. The word temperance, it reminds me of a delicate woman named Temperance. Sebastian says, and subtle as he most learnedly delivered, and a subtle means he is delicate and refined too, and the way Adrian has uttered the name, that means he is a learned person. He is a learned man here. Adrian says, the air breathes upon us here most sweetly, and the air is quite soft, quite nice, quite sweet to us, the air which is blowing. See here, Gonzalo and Adrian both are trying to somehow console the king, as they know that as they think that the king has lost his son. And now Antonio Sebastian says, as if it had lungs and rotten ones. He is ironically saying that as if its lungs, means the lungs of this particular island has rotten, and it provides us the outlet to foul breath. Now Antonio says, or as it were perfumed by fame, means, or it has the smell from a far mercy land. So it's not good. They are saying the air is quite sweet here, and Sebastian and Antonio, they are saying completely the opposite of it. Now Gonzalo says, here is everything advantageous to life, and Antonio says, true, safe means to live. Again ironically he is saying, no doubt this island offers everything except the means of life. And Sebastian says, of that there is none or little, practically none of the means of life. Gonzalo says, how lush and lusty the grass looks, how green. He appreciates the island, he ignores their ironies, though they are ironically trying to push them, but Gonzalo is just overhearing, means he is not going to consider those words, and he appreciates that the grass here on this island, they are really good. Antonio says, the ground indeed is tawny. Tawny means having yellow, brown, some yellowish brown color, and that is reddish brown actually. Now Sebastian says, with an eye of green in it, means with a touch of greenness in it, means it's not that much green as you are trying to mean. Now Antonio says, he missed not much. He has a keen observation. Sebastian says, no, he doth but mistake the truth totally. Yes, but he completely escapes the reality. As I told, these words are not that much important, but for the sake of the drama, we need to go through them. They are just trying to oppose Gonzalo, nothing else. Now Gonzalo says, but the rarity of it is, which is indeed almost beyond credit, And the most unique quality, the unique quality of the island is that is quite unbelievable. Now Sebastian says, as many vouch rarities are. There are many unique qualities which we cannot, they are beyond belief. So Gonzalo says that our garments, being as they were drenched in the sea, hold, notwithstanding their freshness and gloss, being rather new dyed than stained with salt water. That our garments, our clothes, they are so fresh now, as it feels like they were not washed with the salt water of the sea, rather they were newly dyed up. It looks like as fresh as that. Antonio says, if but one of his pockets could speak, would it not say he lies? Means if someone's cloth could was means if it were possible for the pocket of his dress to talk or to speak out, it would have definitely said that he is lying. Sebastian says, oh, very falsely pocket up his report. Yes, that's so, but this fellow is even able to suppress the voice of his pocket. Now Gonzalo says, methinks our garments are now as fresh as when we put them on first in Africa at the marriage of King's fair daughter Claribel to the King of Tunis. And rather, I think the dress, our clothes are as fresh as when we first put it on in Africa in the marriage ceremony, or in the marriage of the king, means in the marriage of the daughter of the King Alonso. Name of the daughter is Claribel, and he was married to King of Tunis in Africa. So it is as fresh as that. Claribel says, it was a sweet marriage, beautiful marriage, and we prosper well in our return. And we were when we were returning back, it was also quite nice. But after that, they faced something. Now Adrian says, Tunis was never graced before with such a paragon to their queen. Means Tunis never had such an extraordinary woman as their queen before. Gonzalo says, not since Widow Dido's time. Yes, never since since Widow Dido's time. Means it was formerly Carthage, where Dido was the queen, and she was betrayed by her lover, and she was left by her lover. So he is trying to indicate that incident, and this incident about this Dido and all, it occurs in Ennis. So he is trying to indicate that only. Now Antonio says, widow, a pox over that. How came that widow in? Widow Dido? Means you are uttering of widow Dido now. What is the reference of saying such thing? Means you should not utter this. Sebastian says, what if he had said widower Aeneas too? Aeneas is the lover of Dido. Now, God, good Lord, how you take it? Now, what's wrong if means you have reacted with the name of Dido only like this? So if he had already mentioned about Aeneas, what would have been your reaction? Adrian says, widow Dido said you make me study of that. She was of Carthage, not of Tunis. Adrian says, are you talking of widow Dido? But she belongs to Carthage, not of Tunis. Then what is, we are talking about Tunis now. So what is the occasion of saying about that particular place? Gonzalo says, this Tunis was Carthage. So whatever place Tunis is now, it was formerly Carthage. That's why I have said about widow Dido. Now Adrian says Carthage. Gonzalo says, I assure you Carthage. Antonio says, his word is more than the miraculous harp. Miraculous harps of is a musical harp of musical instrument which had the it was able to raise the walls of Thebes. Now he says that the way Gonzalo is saying, his words can even rebuild the entire city Carthage. Means he is saying, he is trying to mean, Antonio is trying to mean that Gonzalo is saying something absolutely absurd, absolutely false. Now Sebastian says, he hath raised the wall and houses too. He has not only rebuilt the city, but he has built up houses too. Means he is exaggerating, obviously. Now Antonio saying, what impossible matter will he make is next? Now what's impossible thing he is going to utter next to please the king? Sebastian says, I think he will carry this island home in his pocket and give it his son for an apple. So you can understand. Antonio says, and showing the kernels of it in the sea bring forth more islands, and with the seed of that apple he is going to build up another islands. Now Gonzalo says yes. They are now Antonio and Sebastian, whatever they say, Gonzalo cannot hear. Antonio says, why in good time the king has to the king. Antonio says, you have woken up from your means from the that meditation. You have woken up from your meditation just in time. Now Gonzalo to Alonso to the king. Gonzalo says, sir, we were talking that our garments seem now as fresh as when we were at Tunis at the marriage of your daughter, who is now queen. Antonio says, and the rarest that ever came there, and except the Shiva means that country could ever get such exceptional lady as the queen. Antonio says, oh widow dido, widow dido, means he wants to make the king listen to this, and the king, if the king means just after the marriage of his daughter, such incident took place, and now he wants to make the king means more mad by mentioning this thing. Gonzalo says, is not, sir, my towelette as fresh as the first day I wore it? I mean, in a short, are my clothes are not that fresh as when I wore it for the first time? Antonio says, that short was well fished for. You have rightly modified your words. Now Gonzalo says, when I wore it at your daughter's marriage. Alonso says, you cream these words into mine ears against the stomach of my sins. You are trying to entrust all these words again and again into my ears, but they do not reach up to me. They are unable to reach up to my mind. I don't want to get them, and I cannot get them as well. Would I had never married my daughter there, for coming thence my son is lost, and in my rage she too, who is so far from Italy removed, I never again shall see her. Now he says that I wish I had never married my daughter so far. Now I have, while returning from the marriage, I have lost my son, and my daughter, who is also living so after her marriage, she is so far from Italy, my place, so I will never be able to meet her also again. O thou my hair of Naples and of Milan, what strange fish hath made his meal on thee? And now remorsefully he says that the hair of my country, means my son, who is king of Naples, and as Duke of Milan has surrendered to Naples, so he has thought that he is going to take charge of both the kingdom. So he wonders whichever dangerous fish has eaten his son up. Francisco says, Francisco is a major lord, not a major, he is a minor lord of the same ship. Sir, he may leave. I saw him bid the Sargismen seaweed under him and ride upon their backs. He trod the water whose enmity he flung aside, and breasted the surge most swollen that made him. His bold head above the continuous waves he kept, and o'erwrapped himself with his good arms in lusty stroke to the shore, that over his wave-worn bases bowed as stooping to relieve him. I no doubt he came alive to land. He says that, sir, your son, maybe he is alive, because I have seen him fighting hard with the sea waves, and he was trying to keep his head above the waves, and he was means he was trying to rose above as well, and he was trying to save his own self with the he means he had a tough fight with the with the waves, but he was quite strong and he was quite capable to overcome such difficulties. And the way he was trying to cross the hurdle of those waves, it seemed that the shore was much affectionately was trying to take him into its throne. And I think he is alive on this land. Alonso says, no, no, he is gone. No, he must have been killed. So up to this much, up to this Alonso speech, we complete today. I hope all of you have understood so far we have read, and you need to go through line to line explanation each day. So keep on doing your work. This much for today. Thank you. Have a nice day.